All right, I managed to stay strong. It's Friday morning, 7:11 in the morning, and I have not watched 1 second of the All Sprint Report Star Citizen titled 150. I also have not seen a single message in Discord about it. Not a single one. Same shirt, new color again. Yes, if you guys haven't noticed, I really like these shirts. So this is like super, like not informed at all react other than that I know it's a Sprint Report episode. That's it. So yeah, let's get into it.
As the first quarter of 2023 comes to a close, we're hitting a few milestones here for...
Oh my God, no way. Hold on, no way. That means this is the last ISC and they're going on a 3-week break. No chance. No chance have we not gotten a single working patch and this dude's gotten 6 weeks of time off.
What we call internally the Evergreen Content Team.
I know it's not time off, but at the same time, yeah. And no, this is interesting. Evergreen Content, is this the Evergreen Content Team? They don't make evergreen content.
That's the folks that are dedicated to the creation of weekly, recurring, some might say evergreen video content.
I don't know who's saying that because almost none of the content is evergreen.
Inside Star Citizen,
there's some that
today's
is.
show represents the completion of our 4th year and 150th episode since that first evolution from Around the Verse in 2019. And when you factor in the legacy of ATV and Wingman's Hangar before that, we're now just passing the 450th episode of this continuing behind-the-scenes series unlike anything you'll find from any game developer anywhere else. And yet, somehow, still, we never show anything good.
True.
It also marks the personal completion for me of 8 years shepherding over 1,200 videos showcasing the creation of this project. Even that one holiday live stream we don't like to talk about anymore.
I'm so happy I was not a part of that. I was not far away. I think I might have been did they invite content creators to that one? I don't know. But I was part of the event right before this one. Glad I missed it.
So, to sign us off for this quarter, before we go about our regularly scheduled hiatus, we're bringing back an old favorite, that grab bag of tiny looks at various aspects.
I can't believe they're going on the hiatus.
From all over development, the Sprint Report. Now, for those of you who maybe have never seen one of these before, a sprint is what we call the internal 2-week cadence where developers go off on a task, come back to check in, see everyone's progress, get some notes, and then either move on to something else or go back for another 2-week sprint on the same feature. So, what that means is what you're going to see here this week is actually internal developer art, the kind they don't usually make to be seen publicly. It's not the flashy and somewhat mentally unstable work of the ISC gameplay capture team, who have been on quite a streak recently, possibly because we changed their medications. So without further ado, let's jump into the Inside Star Citizen Quarter 1 2023 Sprint Report and Clam Bake Showdown. I'm assuming that editorial will put a nice, subtle title on screen right here. Also, there's no Clam Bake Showdown. I don't know why I said that. Let's start things off with some spacecraft and vehicles, where there was recently a small onboarding task for a new hire to update the remote turrets for the 600i from Origin, which you can see here. I think we can all agree it's a noticeable improvement over what's in the game today.
I guess. I mean, it's just a visual of a turret, but I like that they mention for a new hire because it sucks that they have to do it, but I like that they do mention it just because it seems like that is an unimportant thing. Why would you work on that, right?
And if you watched last week's ISC on the upcoming changes to tractor beams and Alpha 319 and beyond, you might have noticed the Argo SRV flying around in that Beyond section. Here's a closer look at its progress as it currently makes its way through final art towards a scheduled release later this year. Now, for those who follow the progress tracker on the public roadmap, here are your first looks at 3 vehicles currently making their journeys throughout the pipeline. Starting with the RSI Lynx Rover, companion sojourner to the famous Ursa we all know and love. And
guys, I am going to get 4 of these. I'm going to buy 4 of these, okay? Because I need 4 Lynx. Very important.
An often found package with the luxurious Constellation Phoenix. It's currently in gray box phase, and it's nice to see the RSI styling continue to evolve. Especially with those tires. I mean,
the tires are cool.
I'm not usually a tires are cool dude, but those are cool tires, right?
Yeah, they're cool.
And as we move inside, we can take a look at the cockpit coming along. And then there's the rear, which is at the back, and which is...
Why 4? It's an inside joke that occasionally happens on this channel, that when it goes outside the walls of like the Discord or whatever, people don't get it, and then they get like weirded out or upset by it. Sorry, guys.
Already far more fancy than its Ursa brethren.
It's for the real fans.
I thought the tires were cool, but can a chair also be cool? Because that looks like a comfy-ass chair.
It looks like a chair on a boat.
No, I just edited it out. Yeah, it'll be fine. Good job. There's also the Crusader Spirit, which just entered gray box phase recently. You can see here early work on the exterior, making certain every part of it matches the metrics laid out in the white box phase before it.
Okay.
Then popping in through the rear of the ship, which, like the Lynx, is also in the back. And then into the cockpit that's looking, well, a bit contrasty at the moment. But that's not uncommon for gray box phase, as this period is mostly about defining shape language and material breakup before everything gets refined later in final art phase. And then let's take a look at the...
I think the only thing worth noting is the random cut to that. I don't know if that's an indicator of something, but there's the possibility that like you might be storing armors, or you might be doing that those type of things in a sooner time than you may think. I doubt it, given that this is in like gray box, but maybe.
And then let's take a look at the gray box bomb bay for the bomber variant that's being worked on in tandem with all the others.
Who cares?
Finally, let's look at recent gray box progress on the Apoa Santok Yai, the alien Shion fighter, where you can see the exterior coming along pretty well. The thrusters are being modeled out.
Heavy fighters and Star Citizen.
And they've started exploring how the landing gear will work, experimenting with the shape language a bit to make certain they're beefy enough to believably hold the mass of this entire ship when all is said and done. And as for when you're going to see the 600i turret, the Lynx, the SRV, the Spirit, the Santok Yai, and more make their way into the persistent universe,
public roadmap.
I'd recommend, as always, keeping an eye on the public roadmap for details when they become available.
Yep.
Now let's move from ships that fly to winged creatures. As astute readers of the monthly report might already be aware, one of the many things the AI team is currently working on is pushing Boyd's development in the persistent universe. Now, Boyds are the algorithmic behavior of small creatures that can populate the planets and moons of the persistent universe, with a test here of condors slowly learning to avoid flying into mountains or drowning in the oceans beneath them. Dun, 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 dun.
No chance we can shoot these. No chance we can cut them up for meat. No chance we can cook them. No chance we can use them. Yeah, just look at them.
Dun, 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 Condor Man. Nobody, huh? Just me? And then some work on ocean fish. Here, completely, totally, and utterly unanimated. It's just a test of behaviors here, people, without all the motion parameters that'll make them look good one day. Now, I'm including this as a test. If I see all you out there on the internet's like, these Star Citizen fish look great, I'm gonna know you don't listen to a word I'm saying. My feelings will be hurt. Meanwhile, the Interactables team, formerly known as the Props team, have been running through and physicalizing a bunch of assets for the persistent universe, like these weights for gyms like the ones you might find in New Babbage. Similar to the fish we just watched,
Why?
This is also before animation has had their chance to contribute. So let's not judge the throwing form being displayed here. Still, it's nice to see even the littlest things in the verse behave naturally with realistic mass and physics when—
Oh my god, if we can only interact with things that are actually important. Why are we going through and making interactables with like all these tiny things when there's so many like actual important things that would be really nice to interact with?
never
Like, I don't know, picking up a damn loot box and walking away with it. The little things do matter, but the little things should matter after the big things are done. Like, I agree. It's actually kind of cool because when you look at weights, the weights don't matter, but imagine picking up a loot crate and bringing that into your ship and putting it away and now having a loot crate that you can interact with. Like, I'll never get this stuff.
This effort to make things behave as you'd expect them to also extends to the coffee machines of the verse,
Like, they made a Star Kitten mug
with a pass recently done to go through and
in-game so they could sell it out of game,
repair their
probably.
broken functionality. Now, I did consider turning this section into an update on either bartender or mess hall features, just for old time's sake. But someone who will go unnamed stopped me. Just know that there are heroes out there looking out for each and every one of you. Also, it looks like the team developed a few new coffee mugs along the way. We'll just let this video play for a bit, see a couple coffee cups in action, and think about how much bartender stuff I'm not talking about right now. Also, speaking of bartenders, if you want some interactables of your own, there's this new set of Star Citizen pint glasses up for pre-order on the web store. I asked if they wanted me to promote them, and they said no, because you'll probably do something silly and stupid with it. And I said, leave it with me. And they said, what? No, we said no. And I said, no problem. And here we are. Back to the Interactables team, they've also been prototyping a new way to hang a variety of posters on the walls of the player habs and spacecraft with these new, expanding electronic devices that could let you decorate any space that's marked up for them. The prototyping here is using common adverts for in-universe events, but the possibilities of this feature become apparent very quickly in allowing players to not only decorate their spaces, but to collect and memorialize important moments from their time in the persistent universe, to take missions to set up flyers for in-game shops or events, post bulletins for bounty missions, and much, much more.
Yeah, if only we had our own habs that were like truly ours and stuff like that. That would be sick. Like, I agree, the possibilities there are pretty cool, but...
And this last bit is from both the Interactables and Mission Feature team, who have been developing the next dangerous new contraband to sweep its way through the persistent universe, grasping Weevil Egg.
How is this a sprint report? How is this in the sprint report? There's nothing new about this. What? This is 2 months old? It's in the game now. It's something someone did forever ago. How old is all the other stuff?
Grasping.
I think what this is meant to show is everything around the grasping weevil eggs, not the actual eggs. Pay attention to where they are. Have you ever seen this location before? I haven't. This is new, though. The thing they didn't pick up is something I've never seen before. These you can get at Security Post Korea, in case you guys didn't know. This I've never seen before. This location likely is Pyro, obviously.
Developing the next dangerous new contraband to sweep its way through the persistent universe, grasping Weevil Eggs. Grasping Weevil Eggs. Is this what's the file name?
Possibly full-on copium. Let's do another look. Full-out copium, okay? Possibly a very, very early look at crafting. I think this is sneaky, but I might be
and mission
very
feature
high.
team who have been developing the next dangerous new contraband to sweep its way through the persistent
because you have the smaller containers that go into the big container,
universe.
and you have these here. I don't think so. This isn't so. I think you have these smaller versions. Then you have the 1/8. Then you have the 1 SCUs, which are they're to the left, but they're to the left and right of the characters in the background.
Grasping weevil eggs.
If he turns around, we'll see it. But
weevil eggs.
yeah, so there would be the 1 SCU sized version.
Is this what's the file name?
But I'm pretty sure I'm
Oh no, that's what it is.
full on cope.
Let's switch on over to the environment, planetary, and lighting team's work with these images of updated atmosphere progress for the planet Hurston, which adds a stronger layer of pollution much closer to the planet's surface that helps suck light out of the atmosphere, add a richer gradient, and really just makes the place seem dirtier overall, which we can expect to play very well with the upcoming Loreville 2.0 and Alpha 3.19,
Cool.
some of which you can see here. I'm just gonna let these images speak for themselves a bit.
Good thing this is a 20-minute sprint report. Hopefully I'll find something that I'm excited about. I haven't found anything yet. The posters are so far the best. And my high copium levels of possible crafting. I will? Okay.
And we'll take a deeper
No
look at how
spoilers,
light,
please.
atmosphere, and the new cityscape all come together in Alpha 3.19 when ISC returns from hiatus in just a few weeks.
I mean, I love Loreville.
And while the atmosphere of Hurston is getting a little love, so too are the verdant forests of Microtech. As part of a greater overall overhaul we'll be discussing more of in the coming months, the forests of Microtech are receiving a performative refresh that will make the environment seem richer and denser visually, while providing more gameplay opportunities for cover during missions, racing, and other activities galore.
Okay.
The landing zone teams have also completed a sprint adding additional mission locations scattered around the planet Crusader in the style of resort hotels that can utilize overlays for pleasant, in-use active businesses as well as those taken over by the ever-present and vile Ninetails. Each new cluster is designed to be a procedural home for a variety of mission types and looks to draw players out from Orizon and into the far corners of the gas giant. And down on the surface of Hurston, work is underway.
I'm assuming like delivery missions and the like, but also the option for the like Ninetail stuff.
Away on early white box phase of local law enforcement offices, a place for players to utilize the next evolution of bounty hunting gameplay we'll discuss more about later this year. To collect, or in this case, drop off the captured bodies of criminal outlaws collected by players. Now the drop off here is right up front, cause in early test, it was getting kinda weird just walking through the hallways, pushing bodies deeper and deeper into the facility. Unless you're into that sort of thing.
No,
Moist Noodle.
yeah. Oh, Moist got a call out. I saw a tweet. I have not been able to see any of Moist Noodle's content, but it was not cryptic at all. Does he like secure all the bodies of his dead in his hab somehow? I heard some meme about that, and I may have missed it. I need to reach out to Moist. It's been a long time. He's one of my best friends in the world, and I'm as usual, a very bad friend because I don't reach out to people. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person.
You can then also check out the bounty boards to collect new missions here, or go forward into the shop and resupply as needed.
ATC with Moist, he's been on more than anybody, I think, at this point.
And there's an office for meetings, but who needs more of those in life? And then we bring ourselves to the detention area, where a number of cells can vary from location to location. I suspect that many of you will be looking forward to spending your time anywhere else besides Kleischer. even if it's just a jail and not a prison. Also in white boxes, the pre-production blockouts for a variety of building interior modules that will fit inside the
The frames.
towering skyscrapers of New Babbage on Microtech, being developed and tested in situ simultaneously to work out and discover anything developers might not have considered or recognized as necessary in the original mandate.
Not only the frames, but the quality is turned down. This is like 360p stretched.
The idea here is that once the player lands, they would enter this particular interior from the very top, encountering a lobby and expected elevators. Then, after a brief trip down, emerge into a number of different interior modules, such as block of player apartments seen in the example here.
Oh, you think recorded on Teams? Maybe. It's big, though. It's also snowing inside, yeah.
And speaking of modular interiors, the Montreal Tools team continues their work refining the very process used to make locations for the persistent universe, including several sprints on something called the PU Locations tool, a plugin that artists and designers can use to build and iterate modular locations quickly for the various star systems of the persistent universe.
So this isn't Rastar.
What you're seeing here is the PU Locations tool fully integrated into the game editor, where this person has decided they wish to create a space clinic in Pyro. No doubt a location players will visit quite often in the lawless frontier that awaits. Next, let's cook the first module, which is the lobby and includes the relevant connectors necessary so that the player can traverse from one room to the other without falling through into the cold depths of space. It's important players feel safe in their space stations, at least from the environment art. Legal note, this does not extend to elevators, which are a unique curse upon players and developers alike.
Yes.
Next is
If only that's how bad the elevators were. It would have been way better.
what's called the Universal Room, which is a super fancy programmer term for hallway. They know it's true. We can even change the seed if we don't like that particular hallway and generate another and another, each one creating the various connectors needed for us to continue building. And then some side rooms, or in rare cases, a rear room, which is usually at the back. Some shops like the pharmacy. Oops, an assert. I'm going to leave that in there for solidarity with developer pain. Now let's go inside and start cooking some overlays, which is basically everything involved in the set decor that will further distinguish one space clinic from the next.
Or when am I going to see the thing I like? There's 5 minutes left, and he's now doing a Star Citizen Live game dev on the sprint report right now.
Things are pretty generic at the moment, so we turn on our viz areas, check our tags, start the cook, and whoa, nice. We move forward. Looks like we forgot to cook a container. Easy enough. We're not going to put rooms here, so let's go ahead and start closing these connectors off. And then we can cook us up another overlay for this side room here. Nice. And this process is repeated in all subsequent rooms, and overall it's another terrific example of how game development is exponential and absolutely non-linear in progress. Now, as asset libraries are built and grown and tools are conceived and iterated on, the progress you can make at one point should be exceeded by the next.
Sure.
And overall becomes a...
It'll be cool when there's all sorts of different overlays for each space clinic, I guess, and they'll be able to click a button or a few, and then you have space clinics. But yeah,
continuing reminder that the struggle of what comes before is necessary and right to birth the improved technologies, efficiencies, and general effectivenesses of everything that comes next.
I love being reminded of that things will speed up at some point for 10 years in a row. It's been pretty cool.
Including a new version that does everything you just saw in one click that recently became available to developers.
Okay.
And while we're talking new technologies, let's wrap things up this week with some work from the PU character art team, which had a small sprint working to convert some of our older legacy assets to newer resources that have been developed over recent years, including Layer Blend V2 and the ability to spawn items with specific levels of wear and decay. So this means that
Bro, the old one looks better.
not every version you find out in the verse is going to look exactly the same. The team is also using the opportunity to discover more chances to further modularize existing armors like the Nomad and Light Outlaw you're seeing here, as well as many more we'll be showcasing later this year. Armors like the ability in one click is up this week with some legacy assets, blend V2 legacy assets to newer.
I like the shiny metal on this. You don't like the shiny? Sorry guys, I like the
chances
shiny.
To further modularize existing armors like the Nomad and Light Outlaw you're seeing here, as well as many.
Is that new? No, it says old. Old. New. What are you talking about? The shiny one is wrong. I like shiny things. Sorry, man. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. Hold up.
The Nomad and Light Outlaw you're seeing here, as well as many more we'll be showcasing later this year. It's part of a continuing effort to add more customization to what you wear in both the new stuff that's coming down the pipeline and what's already there in the persistent universe. And that customization also extends to a variety of tints that can be used for spawning armor variants within the universe, which you can see in some early explorations here. This will allow mission and location designers to specify specific variations of components and tints for different areas, or use procedural tools to randomly generate dozens and dozens of variations for each outfit. And when that gets extended to many of the outfits already within the universe, this will get us a far greater variety of things within the persistent universe than we have today. And oh heck, I know I said we were going to wait until our last big segment on Lorville in just a couple weeks once we return from hiatus, but let's go ahead and leave you with just a few shots of the absolutely fantastic work the lighting team is doing, bringing this new Lorville 2.0 to life.
Dude Fast, thank you. Thank you for your prime. This is the good part?
Yeah, I'm gonna shut up and let several thousand words of images do the talking instead.
Oof. Yeah, it does look good. Why aren't they showing video? This is just drawings? This isn't in the engine?
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that there are, as always, a lot of ships and vehicles in the pipeline, all scheduled to make their way to the persistent universe throughout the remainder of this year. That work to bring fauna to the persistent universe is back on the menu. That grasping weevil eggs are a thing, as is the continuing work to physicalize as many aspects of Star Citizen.
Bro, grasping weevil eggs have been in the game for like 5 years. Ah!
So what did we learn this week? Persistent universe throughout the remainder of this year. That work to bring fauna to the persistent universe is back on the menu. That grasping weevil eggs are a thing, as is the continuing work to physicalize as many aspects of Star Citizen as possible. That locations, new and old, continue to be iterated on and improved upon, as do the tools our team members use to create them, and that, boy howdy gee willikers, I'm pretty certain we're just gonna park the only constant outside Lorville at night for all of Star Citizen Live next quarter. Now, as we're at the end of this quarter, ISC is going on its regularly scheduled hiatus.
Where was the thing I was gonna like?
Doesn't stop there. Next quarter, we'll be back with our final looks at Lorville 2.0 before it goes live in Alpha 3.19. We're going to take a deeper look at the vast changes and improvements coming to Arena Commander after that, as well as the new Derelict Settlement Towns, new player experience tutorial, a sequel to the buggy racetrack in Orison, but for Microtech, explorations of the new ships and vehicles arriving at this year's Invictus launch week, a discussion with superstar concept artist Gavin Rothery about envisioning more ships for Star Citizen than anyone else alive. We're going to look ahead to a whole bunch of new features coming in Alpha 3.20, and then of course continuing our journey to 4.0 here and there along the way. It's been one hell of an 8 years, and the last 4 of them bringing 150 episodes of this show to you has been a blast. And we're still getting better at doing so each and every week. Now, I can say that because I'm not talking about myself. I'm referring to the talents and work of Will, Dave, Alex, Casey, Jill, Stephanie, Amanda, Caroline, Tom, David, Luke, Justin, Jake, Vicky, and now Mercy. Welcome to the team, who have all made this last year the best one yet. Thanks for putting up with me, and here's to another 150 more. Oh, and if you've noticed and liked the...
Yeah, why didn't he thank Torsten? The guy's literally saved him over the last 6 weeks.
10 different memes that have been here on the screen all quarter will be releasing to the social media later this week. I can tell you they make great phone wallpapers. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for watching. Thanks for 150 episodes, and we'll see you back here in about a month.
Whoa, it's not even 3 in about a month? What does that even mean? When's the good part again? This is a waste of development time. The people who work on the marketing team that make these videos do not make the game, dude. So it is not a waste of development time. It's just a waste of our time sometimes. The SRV 320 being mentioned as like a big patch. Things to put in your room and maybe crafting. What did I miss? Is there anything that I missed? Like, it didn't seem like a huge sprint report. I wasn't expecting a big sprint report, though. Oh, the bounty thing. Yeah, the bounty thing was actually pretty good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the gasping weevil eggs that have been in the game for like 10 years. Yeah, those. Yeah, I think the bounty pods was probably the coolest thing. Certainly the coolest thing that I missed. Bounty thing is years away, though? I don't think so. Bounty Hunting V2 is definitely in their plans in the near future, I think. So I don't think so, but yeah. So that was the sprint report. You guys definitely baited me pretty good. I've been baited twice today now. And now what do we do for the next 3 weeks?